Today in transgender news. Let's get into the highly contested and often debunked theory of the autogynephilic transsexual and the homosexual transsexual, because I think that there is a greater lesson to be learned behind all of the shenanigans surrounding this topic. Okay, so this is Mr. Ray Blanchard. He is a sexologist and psychologist. He's been studying trans people for like 3 decades. And honestly, he is the most integral component to the academic exploitation of sex and gender minorities. Good old Ray deemed it necessary to further stigmatize us and put us into boxes and categorize us in 2 different ways. First being autogynephilic. That is the propensity of someone to be aroused by the thought or idea of themselves as female. Blanchard explained these women as typically transitioning later in life. They typically still date women, and oftentimes they don't experience gender dysphoria in the same way that the other group does. And the second group would be the homosexual transsexual, and I guess that would be the group that I fall into. Like, I hate these fucking names, but such is life. Blanchard explains them as being solely attracted to men, transitioning earlier in life, and being feminine in their appearance and their behavior. And I just started reading some of his writings, but he makes his sexual attraction and his preferences very apparent in his writings. Like, he fixates on homosexual transsexuals appearances. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, he's been outed as being a chaser, which if you don't know what a chaser is, that's somebody who wants all of the girls, like you're at his house for breakfast and Jennifer's there by lunch type. I say all this to say that a lot of people have an issue with speaking about trans people without regard to our sexuality and our genitals. It's so frustrating sometimes because I feel like I'm constantly reduced down to the functioning of my body parts. Even in literature, it's honestly exhausting. People tend to look at transitioning through this sexual deviant lens, and it's like, no, I reject that. Like, I transitioned because I wanted to alleviate the crippling gender dysphoria that I was feeling. Like, that's it. That's all.